guys, this is E10 Sun from SunBros. Today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this brand new video, but before we get started with that, I want to make sure I remind you guys on how to get entered in for a chance to win our guaranteed skin giveaways that we do every Sunday night during our 1-hour question and answer live stream. All you gotta do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and comment below with your in-game name and which skin you'd like to receive on either the NA or EU servers under 700 vouchers. And remember, the more videos that you do this with that are uploaded each week, the higher chance you have to win. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started with our Lauriel how to build video. We're going to get started as we always do on the hero page so we can kind of check Lauriel out and figure out what she's all about, what makes her who she is, what makes her tick, and try to figure out how to maximize those strengths and mask those weaknesses as best as we can based on our toolkit. We're going to start, of course, with her passive Divine Punishment. Enemies hit by Lauriel's abilities become marked. Every 4 marks triggers an explosion that deals true damage to nearby enemies and slows their movement speed by 90% for 1 second. Lauriel also recovers health after the explosion, so that's really interesting to note. I'm going to bring that up later on when we're discussing the build, the fact that she gets health back from her passive, which I think is a really underrated part of her kit. Next is the first ability, the Wheel. Lauriel summons the Divine Light, dealing magic damage to enemies. The path lights up shortly after and deals the same amount of damage again. Which is pretty nice. It's a double damage poke ability. It goes out and then it flashes again and disappears. Blink. Lauriel charges towards the target direction and summons 3 energy orbs to attack nearby enemies, dealing magic damage with each attack. Ability cooldown is reduced by 4 seconds when it hits enemies. So an important thing to note here is that the 4 seconds is a flat static 4 seconds. So no matter what we do to the actual cooldown via cooldown reduction, the 4 seconds stays where it's at, which is really good news for us. Then we're looking at our ultimate, Smite. Lauriel summons a judgment circle that lasts 12 seconds, dealing magic damage both when the circle appears and fades. Also, it greatly reduces the cooldown of the Wheel and Blink, her first and second ability, when she is in the circle. Alright, so to note the cooldowns, as we always do, this one starts at 40, goes all the way down to 30. We'll just talk. So it's up for 12 seconds. We can reduce it down all the way to 18 seconds. Which means that we could, by end game, by the time we have our cooldown, we'll be able to have only 6 seconds of downtime in which our ultimate is not up. And if you guys know Lauriel, her ultimate is when she goes bananas. She goes, no Wukong puns intended. She goes crazy. She can cast her abilities over and over and over again. Her damage is out of this world. Her passive just keeps proccing and proccing. It's really incredible. So to be able to do this with only 6 seconds of downtime between her ultimate is really awesome. Her second ability, Blink, has a 10-second cooldown. We're going to be able to reduce that all the way down to 6 seconds, and then it's going to reduce by 4 seconds whenever the magic orbs hit an ability. So, or the energy orbs. Then her first ability is going to start at 5. It stays at 5, but after a cooldown reduction, we're going to be able to get it all the way down to 3. So we'll be able to spam these abilities like crazy when her ultimate is going off. We're talking about 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then less cooldown when the ult's going off, so it's going to be wild. Alright, so let's go ahead and head to the equipment page and figure out what we want to do with Lauriel. Now, my initial thought and strategy with Lauriel is a couple things. Number one, she does her damage. She does explosive damage, so we're going to want to build as much damage on her as we can. Number two, because of her ultimate being a circle, she has to be inside of it. She's required to really fight more often than she'd like at a close distance. So we have to build some tankiness and survivability on her so she doesn't simply get bursted down. So we're going to start with what I would say is a little bit of a hybrid item in the magic session, and that's going to be Orb of the Magi. Orb of the Magi is going to give her 140 ability power, cooldown reduction of 10%, so we started at 10. We need 30 more to get capped off at 40. The first passive is Bide, which gains 12 ability power and 110 HP every 30 seconds. Stacks up to 10 times. What that means is that it takes 5 minutes to stack, and you'll get another 120 ability power, maxing the Orb of the Magi out at 260, and you get 1100 health. So that's actually not bad. 1100 health gives you some survivability. 260 ability power is good. Cooldown reduction, kind of give us a little bit of everything that we want. And the final passive is always nice to have. From the Ashes, when the hero gains a level, 20% of HP and mana are restored over 3 seconds. This will obviously come in handy during times when she needs some sustain, would normally be needing to back or something of that nature. So it's always nice to have a network. It's never a bad thing. Next, of course, we're moving on to boots, and we're going to get Gilded Greaves. As we talk about with every how to build video, Gilded Greaves is one of the best boots in the game by a mile. And the reason why is because the unique passive resistance. 35% resistance, what that gives you is if you get crowd controlled in any way, shape, or form, slow, stun, root, knock up, knockback, freeze, petrify, whatever it might be, this will reduce it by 35 seconds. So if you get a 1 second stun on you, and you have Gilded Greaves on, you are now only stunned for 0.65 seconds. Congratulations. So those are the boosts we're going to go with, and then we're going to go with our first tank item, and what I really consider to be the best tank item on any mage type hero who plays an assassin type gameplay like her and needs to be tanky. Not all mage assassins need to be tanky, like Zill for example has incredible escapability, but she needs some tankiness, and we're going to give her the Ages. So this gives us another 20% cooldown reduction, getting us up to 30, only 10% away from our cap. 400 max mana is really nice on her, especially at this point in the game, because when her ult is going off, she can spam those abilities like crazy, and mana is always useful when you can spam abilities. And then of course 360 armor gives us some more of that survivability and tankiness that we have been talking about. And then the passive is just a beautiful thing for her overall survivability. When taking damage, reduces the attacker's attack speed by 30% and movement speed by 15% for 3 seconds, which is really, really good against marksman. So if a marksman is jumping Lauriel, their movement speed will be reduced by 15 seconds, so they have trouble getting away from her if that's the case. And the attack speed is reduced by 30 seconds, reducing the effective amount of damage they can output to her. So solid item. I really like the first start we're getting. Right now we have some damage, we have some real heavy tankiness, and we have 30% cooldown reduction, really giving us a solid early game. Then we're going to be going with our next kind of, I would say, dual item, kind of a combo use item, and that's Rhea's Blessing. We're going to get 140 ability power. Combined with the 260 we already have, gives us 400 ability power in total, and another 10% cooldown reduction, which already caps us off at 40%. The first unique passive is Life Shield. Gains a shield that absorbs 450 plus 50 per level. So at level 10, for example, that's another 500, giving you 950. And then it gives you plus 40% of your ability power. So the more ability power you have, the bigger the shield is. This could legit, at level 15, with all the ability power that we're going to end up at, I haven't done the exact map, but this could easily end up being a shield that heals between 1500 and 2000 damage. The shield comes into play when you get damage when HP falls below 40% is when it gets procced, when it goes into play. The shield lasts 4 seconds and has a 75-second cooldown. So it's a little bit less cooldown than a lot of those 90-second cooldown passives, but the shield is going to be massive. And 2 reasons why I think it's really strong on her. Number 1, the unique passive from Rhea's Blessing. The second one, Magic Lifesteal, plus 25%. So let's say you're in a serious fight and you do take damage that puts you below 40. You do take damage that puts you below 40% health. The shield kicks in, and it gives you time to take advantage of that Magic Lifesteal, to take advantage of her passive, which, remember, when the true damage explosions happen, she gains health. So the shield comes up, you get Magic Lifesteal, you get health from the explosions. You could potentially heal back a really solid amount of Lauriel's health while the shield is up, and then when it disappears, you're back at it. It comes in handy in her all the time, and it's a really phenomenal combination of items. The healing from the passive, the healing from Magic Lifesteal, the shield, kind of congruent with how tankiness she already is. It makes her really difficult to kill, but now she's got 40% cooldown reduction and a pretty good amount of damage so far. But what are we going to do to increase her damage even more? We're going to go to one of the best items in the game for that, and that's Kate's Diadem. As we just noted, she currently has 400 ability power from her 2 items, and then she's getting 200 more from Kate's Diadem. That gives her a total of 600 ability power, and when you use the first passive Warlock to increase the ability power by 35%, let's see, we got that 60, 120, 180, plus 5%, which is 30. That's 210 extra ability power, giving Kate's Diadem a whopping 410 ability power instead of 200. That is a massive increase in damage for us, and it's not even including the last item. Plus, we get some Magic Pierce, which isn't not a bad have ever. It's never bad to have. You'll be able to get through some of that magic defense people have and do even more damage. And the last item is going to be a very heavy damage item, which makes us a little bit more survivable, and that is Holy of Holies. 400 ability power. Remember, because of the passive on Kate's Diadem, that 400 ends up becoming 580, I want to say. Let's see, 10 is 4, let's see, 4, 8, 12, no, 140. So that's 540 ability power on Holy of Holies. Now we're rocking ability power. So we're talking about, we have 540 plus, we talked about 600 plus 210, that's 810. So that gives us 850. 1250 ability power is what we have right now on these items. And then we're talking about, we have some health from this item and from this item. So we have 2500 extra health. So we get some tankiness. We obviously have the armor and everything from the ages. But when we talk about the shield at 450 plus 50 per level, so let's say at level 15, it gives you another 750 shield. So now we're talking about 1200 plus 40% of our magic damage, which we just discussed was at 1250. And that is, let me do some quick math here. That's 250. That's 500 extra. So now Rhea's Blessing shield is, man, I'm losing track of it all, is rocking us out at 1700 damage absorption from the shield. So you're gonna get a 1700 shield on Rhea's Blessing from the numbers that we have here. This isn't including any base stats that might affect it. I don't think there's any base stats that do, but this is just pure math on the item build. So 1700 damage shield, what we're gonna end up getting. We have 2500 extra health. We have 360 armor. We have, of course, the resistance from the boots. We have the shield, the magic lifesteal, and a solid 1250 ability power for some really nice damage. And this is going to help Lauriel thrive in that ultimate. She's only going to be out of that ultimate late game for a maximum of 6 seconds because she only has an 18-second cooldown, and the ability itself lasts 12 seconds. So I'm going to be really solid on her, and she's going to be able to survive fights but deal the insane amount of damage that Lauriel's known for. And this, guys, is my Lauriel build that I am suggesting to you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys dominate with it, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But thanks for watching, guys, and as always, till next time.